He's the founder and CEO of Shah Hemp Inno-Ventures from Nepal. Yep. This one will be the online, yeah.
Hello, namaste everyone. My name is Dhiraj Shah. I'm the founder CEO of Shah Hemp Inno-Ventures, which is based in Nepal. Sorry, unfortunately, I could not be at the venue in person to share my presentation with you because of the world conditions around. So I'm very happy to be connected in this form through Zoom. Today we are going to talk about our Nepalese hemp ecosystem and how it is going around in the world and what we see and how can it be a good model for sustainability with using hemp as a main ingredient for this kind of changes. When we talk about sustainability, it's a very common word nowadays. People need to understand what it is, and technically, from a dictionary, when you look at it, it's avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. This is very much true in today's age, how we are depleting all our natural resources and creating an ecological imbalance. So how do we go towards being sustainable? We need to understand we are connected, not an ego, but in an eco. We are part of the nature. We have to, once we understand our connectedness, we can understand how we can go and make ecological and sustainable construction methods, knowledge of resource utilization locally, and small-scale infrastructure development and skill development and employment generation, so that every generation the skill is being transferred and transmitted, and people are living in the same natural conditions. So in that way, you create a self-sufficient, sustainable system. And this is, I think, the future of how humans, we need to evolve in order to be really connected. And it is a next thing. Is this just an idea, or like, is it really a reality? I mean, in the past few years, because of the COVID, we have understood this is a very important thing. And it is a reality, and it can be a reality when you look of the natural materials that are around that we are just starting to discover. We can say one of the main plants that we are talking about is the cannabis plant, which has existed for as long as humans, like 12,000 years ago. We have the first records of things. And this is very ancient, old techniques that we have forgotten, and we are relearning them. The knowledge transfer did not happen from generation to generation. So we are getting to know these stuffs, and we are progressing into us being a sustainable society, communities and stuff. So when you look at the uses of hemp, that has been documented from the past, there are 50, some people say 25,000, 50,000 uses of hemp. This ranges from each and every product, household things, everything that in the 21st century we are some way, one way or the other has originated from hemp, where things have evolved into making different kinds of products. These products, when you look at this number, 50,000 products, these kind of things, how can you use all of these things? Products are necessary, things are important for our sustainability. So we have like divided them into a basic sustainability, something as basic necessities that people need, the basic food, clothing, and shelter, which is not available to a lot of people in the world. So this can be a really good tool as a natural resource to provide at least basic necessities to people around the world, from your animal bedding to food, whole range of superfoods, mattresses, housing, clothing, textiles, your medicine, food and medicine together as one. Let food be thy medicine. Construction, natural ecological constructions which are not harming the nature, living in sync. Paper products, these have been China, they invented paper long time ago. It was first made with hemp paper, animal food and stuff. So these are very simple, basic things that are necessary so we can focus on. If you're using cannabis, you can have a sustainable system by focusing on developing, getting your basics right. So once you have your basics right, then you can move into advanced sustainability, where you are generating fuel, high efficient fuel, you're making bioplastics, you're creating more body care products, even now batteries are coming, essential oils, so this with more modern technology that we are, so this favors, there's a place for every type of nation, from a poor country to a very advanced country. Some people have a lot of resources, some countries don't have so much of resources. So this is a very nice way in which people can focus on various things. In Nepal, we are very much fulfilling our basic necessities, and we are progressing towards advanced sustainability into meeting these kind of things that we are heavily relying on. So when you look in Nepal, I would want to start before, like pre-ban, when you're like 1960s, before color, like everything before globalization or something came, before 1960s, it was very common. You can relate that to every single community around the world, from Vietnam, Romania, Bulgaria, Europe, everywhere around the world, there have been people working with cannabis as a food, as a medicine, as a textile, these kind of things. People have been weaving, Afghanistan also, people have been weaving fabric since olden times, very fine fabric, like cotton grade fabric. So this is nothing new, that we are just now discovering all of these things. Those times in Nepal, we used to have a farming license. There used to be advertisements on newspaper for when the new license openings, and notices about things, what you can do, what are the tax rate changes and things like that. So these were very systematic, organized. Tax was properly given to the government. They were like the plain bills of the southern part of Nepal. We see all these green leaves, all of them, cannabis used to grow very wildly and in large quantities, and government used to get good revenue from this. And then the hippies came. They followed this path all the way around, and came to Kathmandu, Goa, Banaras, all these places all around. This was a awakening movement for peace, some kind of stuff with the war and all, and cannabis also relating to peace got this thing movement together. And in Nepal, in Kathmandu, main touristic areas, they were like nice, openly. You had shops with various brands of hashish and marijuana, and just like the coffee shops in Holland that you see, you have a complete list, a menu of all these varieties of the flowers. Still today, I mean, Nepal is considered, this whole Asian belt is considered the originator, the source of the cannabis plant. So right now, we are understanding the value of the plants that we have around us, where the whole world has been experimenting, finding out new ways. And once this happened, right after the cannabis flowers got banned by the Single Convention on Narcotics Drug in '61. So I think we all know a bit of the story behind how all this happened and how everything was banned. But even the ban happened, but still it was it's flowers are banned, but rest is okay. But but carefully. Seeds were still as a major food source till now in Kathmandu, Nepal. All over, people consume seeds daily on a regular basis. We have the tourist market areas which makes handmade hemp fabric, and all other fabrics, textiles. The same thing that has existed for thousands of years, from generation to generation. It is now showcased in. It is still there. It didn't die out because of the ban or anything. So we're very fortunate that this thing kept on going. The seeds are there. You have your textile products and stuff. So we are moving along with that. Rest of the things, the flowers. Police still have a regulation to cut cannabis that is growing in large quantities in places. It just to maintain um, some kind of a control in understanding. So some people misuse it, drug trafficking and stuff. So there are a lot of socioeconomic problems that cannabis is causing. Uh, the, we understand how these social norms, conditions can be changed, and we are working on those lines to create a positive awareness on this product. Uh, so in order to show what really cannabis is, how it can be a good contribution to the economy, as well as mitigate these kind of smuggling or other kinds of hassles that police and authorities have with this plant and everything. This is a real life implementation of how we can use cannabis as a real economic tool. So we started this company, Shah Hemp Inno-Ventures, in 2015. Me and my wife. It is a private limited company, but a social enterprise based in Nepal, focusing on social impact. Our main motive vision is to transform wild grown cannabis into a catalyst for fair employment, economic growth, climate change mitigation, eco-friendly construction, and sustainable cannabis products. We are also applying for a B Corp certification. This is certification given to companies that meet the highest standards of social and environmental impact, where your profit and your impacts are balanced in that way. We are not working with the flowers. We are working with the rest of the plant. The wild cannabis that is growing, the plants that the textile industry, the hemp seed industry community, the villages they use. So we are in contact with them, and we mutually share resources in that manner. So we can at least do waste management. Most of the time they burn the stalks. It's just waste for them. They have taken the seeds and the flowers and the rest leaves. And so we are doing waste management and using the stalks to make different kind of products in that way. So we have divided our product and what things you can make with hemp into four basic necessities: for housing, clothing, food, and a machine unit which develops the basic simple machine systems where this processing can be done. So we are developing the skills of local population by introducing innovative ways of doing efficient practices of processing things. And it is not just limited to cannabis, but it's but to the whole natural material ecosystem. Sometimes along with cannabis, you need other stuff, like if you want to make hempcrete, you need to have hemp and lime. So understanding also how to process lime, how to develop a local market and a local ecosystem of processing, those kind of things. So our focus is a holistic way on how to process the natural materials. So for our shivcrete of the construction, how we can make houses with natural materials, we combine hempcrete with traditional ecological and sustainable construction practices. Once you're living in a underdeveloped country in that way, you have access to a lot of natural resources where you won't find in a town or a city or something. So this way it gives you access to a lot of natural materials, natural resources that can be utilized. So we are we have this whole range of natural materials that you can build walls, you can build houses, you can do good plasters, you can have natural paint. So a complete natural solution for building a house. Even replacing concrete, cement as much as possible. Um, she, this is a new book of Steve Allen. He just released this book. It is 50 hemp building cases around the world. So people who are interested in understanding the hempcrete and how diverse and flexible material this is, you can have a look at this book. It also features 3 of our hempcrete construction that we have done. One of the Janakpur Trauma Hospital, we did an extension block for a few, made almost 1,500 square feet um, of rooms and halls. Um, we did 2 social projects, empowering bottom up, where we try to improve their basic necessities, their housing, into a better house, not by changing it from a mud house into a concrete house, but to make that mud house stronger, better, more durable. They know how to maintain, they know how to use clay and mud, all those things. So why not to use that? So we had a global support from Hempro International, Hemp Consult, Akta and Baumann's, who supported this in our project, and it has been a landmark project in understanding how to do social projects of housing and incorporating the community together and making a positive impact. The second social project was also supported by Hemp Surface International and Shiva ourselves. The house that you see on the bottom right was the house that we built for a very poor family in the villages. It had to be built in that way so that, because if the house was looking good, people would take over her house. So a lot of social problems we have to understand in how to deal with them. Um, so we have our housing, shelter. Now on our food, we are working, we have been developing, prototyping all kinds of natural ways to make our daily consumables, like our soaps, our oils that we eat from our food. So some way a nutritional requirement is not being met in people. So hemp seeds have a tremendous amount of nutritional value in them. And along with other mixes with oils naturally harvested and processed, we make other oils also, mix them together and have our different variations with these kinds, and even making our hemp soaps, putting as much hemp oil as possible, reducing, like adding no chemicals, just a simple base to it. So we're understanding, pushing the limits of what is possible and how to keep ourselves healthy. We're coming up with a larger range of food products. As you know, the raw materials is so dynamic that you can make a whole range just from the seeds, and just from the oils, you can make a whole range of products. So this is basic necessities are being fulfilled. Now moving to a bit of advanced necessities. So this showcases what is possible and what is the future that can be done. Shiftcraft is our department that we are focusing on the textiles unit, how we can use the hemp fiber into yarns, into fabric, and to make various kinds of products and try to reduce our imports, try to manufacture local products so we can have a local economy. We have been working with Shiftcraft for the past 5 years, and we have a complete range of products, developing all kinds of backpacks to folders, pouches, footwear products, home furnishing, ladies, boutique products, professionals, storage, side bags, and our customer clients are from all ranges, whoever is in need of these kind of ecological backpacks or any kind of textile products. It's we are working on this kind of a model that one unit, a sustainable unit, will only produce a specific amount of bags per month. That is enough to keep the system going, keeping the employees paid, and a continuous flow in which knowledge sharing and these things can progress. The Shiv works, the basic backbone or the element, the main processing unit. We have been working for a long time into understanding how to process things on a small scale, but achieve global quality and global approval of the raw materials that are being produced, manufactured. All of these machines we develop intuitively, understanding what is a need and what the focus is, how to improve the efficiency. We would want to employ people, but have machines to do the repetitive work. And so it's a man and machine, a good combination where we have the best of both. Just from the hemp stocks, we have been able to produce this range of products. The shives that we use for construction, hempcrete, dust is something that is used for biocomposite or feed, something. Short fibers also, you can make textile, insulation, those kind of wool for insulation, for paper, long fibers for making fabric yarns, and also charcoal, which is a whole different universe in itself. So this just by simple processing, simple understanding, we can have products that are already ready to use, and we have other products that are very essential into going into advanced sustainability. You can use these things and help existing industries to upgrade their systems by not using chemical products or and replacing them with natural ingredients, natural raw materials. So in that way, you are creating a much more ecological and a sustainable products. When we are thinking about making products, we have always been in the last industrial revolution has always been of quantity, large scale, maximum production as much as it can happen. But we have really lost a lot of quality in that phase. And when we try to make quality products, we cannot compete with the existing large scale mass manufacturing. So there is a market for everything, and we understand even though there is a value added to handmade products, they have their quality, and that is highly valued. So understanding how quality manufacturing is the way to go to be sustainable. Larger scale manufacturing won't make you sustainable in that way. You would deplete your resources. You won't have enough hemp to grow to feed this huge machine that it can run for 24 hours in it. So there will always be a bottleneck, so is to keep it a small scale, but high tech and sustainable in that way that the raw materials are periodically harvested from nature and you're using them, you're not depleting them faster than you're using them. Having localized distributed manufacturing systems instead of having a large factory in one place, having small distributed factories at various sites. It economically, it doesn't sound efficient, but in a social economy or a social development or community development, this is how it has functioned as communities, villages for a long period of time. This way you will be empowering, you'll be developing skills, you'll be mobilizing a local economy in this way. Local economy is proportional to global economy. If we look at all the local economies around, basic and advanced necessity products can be made available locally. It will strengthen the local economy. It will create a sustainable, interdependent nations. That will create a stronger global economy. Sustainable, interdependent nations is where you are sharing resources, um, having global exports. These are like the added bonuses of these kind of things when you are differentiating between two different countries who are willing to work together. We have independent, non-conflicting market opportunities. Um, if a first world and a third world country work together, first world country has their own markets to cater, a third world has their own markets to cater. So they both can work together, have a collective technological evolution, and even so can have a resource sharing locally, globally around. So when we understand how everything can come together, um, just by keeping in focus of sustainability, basic necessities or advanced necessities, and how to go about developing that on a local scale. That is how we can really progress and understand, take hemp, the cannabis plant into a better way where it can fulfill all our needs in that way. Thank you very much. Any questions, please?